Yo, what's going on, man? What's going on? This, you know, I told y'all sometimes I'll look at other messages and I'll take requests. And, somebody did ask me what was my thoughts on the Minnesota situation, and it actually took me like 2 days to even come close to being able to do this because it's of course, a very sensitive subject, and words mean a lot. The way you put words together, and I guess it was better because over the last couple of days, more things happened. But I will say this is that sometimes we get so caught up in our thought process that something is a racial thing that we forget that in many ways it's a humanity thing. And what I mean by that is if you are, human, if you have human feelings, if you love people, to see anybody, I don't care, the color of their skin or gender or anything, to be done like that, it would be not only offensive but heartbreaking, to see any person begging for their life, literally calling for their mother. It's heartbreaking. And to my belief, to know that individual, I refuse to call him an officer or anything of that sort, but he knew what he was doing. I don't think that maybe he didn't think he was going to kill him, but I know he thought he was going to cause him great discomfort, unnecessary discomfort. But this is what I'll say, and I'll be very, very, PC about what I'm gonna say. Is that in the days afterwards, we saw the development, and we saw, our great leader who always continues to make an ass out of himself, not get it. This situation is a situation that is blown up, nationally because of the videotape. This situation will continue to blow up. You know what I mean? But the truth of the matter is that this is an ongoing situation. This is a situation of centuries of hatred and oppression, centuries of division in this country. Decades of division and hatred and violence and unnecessary, murders and unnecessary pain. And at some point in time, we have to address the issue in a matter that's not just saying, hey, black people, y'all mad, be mad, and raise a cause, march and do this and do that. But it can't be whether it's racism against Asians, whether it's racism against Caucasians, whether it's racism against blacks, Latinos, whoever. It cannot become an issue that it's just their problem, because racism, bigotry, and hatred is our problem. Now, I know I'm going to rub some of y'all the wrong way when I say this, but y'all follow me closely. Years ago, when Colin Kaepernick took the knee, in the midst of all of these type of things going on again, we didn't want to talk about it. That's why Colin Kaepernick doesn't have a job. That's why the obvious narrative of what he was trying to get across, that these situations was wrong, was pushed out the window. And we made it about the military, even though the guy who told him to do this was in the military, even though he's emphatically said it has no disrespect towards the military at all. This is a really outcry for us to stand up as a nation and stand up for a people that belong to our nation, that the military fights for their freedoms. But we didn't want to discuss that. We would rather say, oh, you're being disrespectful to the country. You're being disrespectful to the military. You're being disrespectful to everything else. But no one wanted to address the fact that, what about the people that's being disrespected in this country that he was trying to bring attention to? See, when you continue to ignore a problem, whether it's your health, whether it's whatever, and you let it fester, it doesn't go away. It gets worse. It doesn't go away. It gets worse. It continues to grow. It continues to grow. The tensions continue to grow. People want to push the limits further and further and further and further. And then at the very point when it's about to explode, now people who have acted as savages that should have been checked by society now want us to be humble and want us to be, nice. And I'm not talking about black people. I'm talking about us people, the good people, the people who love people. See, what was going on in Minnesota that I noticed that was interesting, I didn't just see black people in the street angry. I saw a lot of people in the street angry. I saw a lot of people out there throwing things and doing things that we are not proud of as a society. We're not proud of as a country. But I saw a lot of people who were angered by this situation. That's what I'm talking about. This is a humanity thing. We've seen it. We've complained about it. We've all said, why don't y'all fix it? And even at that point, at this highest point of our tensions, the saddest part about it is the leadership in our government, the leadership at the highest levels to the lowest levels of government in some cases still didn't get it, because we have, the great leader talking about, bullets will be fired and this did and all these different things and that, but you don't understand that's gasoline on the fire. Because if a person is so angered and so hurt and so tired of seeing people murdered for no reason and discriminated against for no reason, that they would go into your jail and burn it down and beat up your police cars and let you know that they don't care anymore. That is the strongest outcry for justice that you will ever see. They don't care about your bullets, because the truth of the matter is that these people have guns too. So what? Instead of talking about this situation and addressing the situation at hand, what we're going to do is combat it and talk about property that's being gone. No, it's time to sit down and address the issues. I don't expect somebody like Agent Orange to, because he thrives off of he thrives off of racial tensions and different things. But us as a society, we have to say that some things are wrong. Those of us who are good people, who love people in general, I don't care what color you is. If you good folks, salute to you, nothing but love and blessings to you. Those type of people, we have to address this as a whole. Because if we continue to act as if this problem isn't here, if we continue to always act as if it's anti-American to stand up for other Americans who don't look like us, we will continue to see an America that's entrenched in violence and entrenched in negativity and entrenched in separation. This is because the conversation won't start. If people would have said, you know what, Kaepernick, let's talk about why you taking a knee. Let's talk about why y'all marching. Let's get to a point to where, you know what, they were wrong. Let's put pressure on these people. This wouldn't have happened. To be more exact on this specific situation, if instead of y'all threatening the public who's rioting with more violence, and they are showing you that they are willing to go in violence, and we are basically on a course for a major war between the civilians and our own army, if you would have just did the right thing and put cuffs on that man like you would have done anybody else who killed a man in the street right off top and threw his ass in jail, all of this probably could have been avoided. Because people are not looking for revenge. People are looking for justice. I am seriously saying that when you wouldn't have had all these riots, you wouldn't have had these lootings, you wouldn't have had police cars being blown up, you wouldn't have had the precinct on fire, if somebody would have done their job and took a murderer into custody and treated him like you would have treated everybody else. Because when you stopped and you said, you know what, we're going to let this man go home comfortably after we got him on video choking a man to death, abusing his power to take the life of another black man in the street, something that we know is at the ultimate of all tensions, you created the firestorm. That man should have been slapped in cuffs, and at that point in time, that would have been our government, our officials saying, we will not take this. We are going to protect you. We don't care what color you are. This was wrong. People would have applauded that effort. Instead, you let it go to a point of absolute insanity. And yes, we'll talk about the people who took the TVs from Target. We'll talk about the people who looted these stores and this and that and the other. And I'm not saying that looting and these things are the correct thing to do, but sometimes you got to understand. Don't persecute the monster. Persecute what made the monster. Sometimes you got to persecute what made the monster. See, we oftentimes, we go to the result, you know. We always talk about, well, look how they was acting. Look why. Well, why was they acting like that? I'm not saying that the way that they were acting was good. We don't never want to see people getting hurt in fires and riots in the street. That's just terrible. But all of this could have been avoided because this was the result of something far more terrible. It's hard for me to feel compassionate about seeing a TV being stolen when a man's life was stolen. It's hard for me to be compassionate about seeing a building, police station burned down when it's been churches burned down with people in them. It's hard for me to feel compassion about your things when lives are being taken, lives are being destroyed, people are being made to feel like nothing. It's hard. We as a people, and once again, I will repeat, not a black people, not a white people, not anything. Us. If you care about people, if you care about the right thing, stop sitting back and turning a blind eye to injustice and making it political and making it about everything else. Start making it about brotherhood, sisterhood, humanity, doing the right thing. Nobody should be murdered in the streets. Nobody should have to face injustice. Nobody should feel like a prisoner inside of a place that they're supposed to be a citizen. Nobody should have to worry when their kids leave home if they're going to make it back. And the saddest part about it, their worries is, are they going to make it back because of the people who were hired and we pay to protect them? Nobody should have those worries. We brag so much about the land of the free and the home of the brave and how great this country is and everything about it. But really, this country was built off of people saying, I won't take this. We must do better. Power to the people. At some point in time, when we say power to the people, it's got to mean all people. If we all gonna live here and we all gonna be here, we need to stand up for each other. We need to treat each other well. The only thing I can say from this situation is we've seen it before. Watts riots, we've seen the Rodney King situation, we've seen a lot of situations is I hope that y'all don't forget tomorrow. It was just a month ago we was talking about a guy getting hunted down and shot, in the streets. Don't forget it, Start making your voice be heard when things are wrong. Don't make excuses. Because this is one situation where there's truly no excuse. We can't make an excuse for a man being murdered in the streets like that. We can't. It's up to us not to riot, not to act a fool, but it's for us to act like civilized people who care about people. I hate to see that this brother lost his life. I hate to see that any of these people lose their life. It's been a lot of police abuse, and we can't take it. It's not just black people. I'll be the one to say that. I've seen some videos where, I seen a young white guy in the hallway of, I think it looked like a hotel, that was begging for his life, and he was literally on his stomach, begging for his life as he's down on the ground, and they still killed him. This is a people problem. Yes, we see certain people get treated worse than others, but the only way we can overcome, those who have no intentions to do good by anybody is to come together and stand up on the principle that people should be treated good as people. That's the only way, man. I hope that we take something from this, man. It's a sad thing, but I have a bad feeling that this won't be the last time that we're talking about something like this. This won't be the last time that we have a riot. This won't be the last time that this country is in turmoil and you have tensions. The election is coming on. It's already very racial. This is part of their plan, you know. Y'all do the right thing, man. Love each other, you know. Fuck the agendas of these people who don't really care about none of us and trying to control us by hatred. Hatred is a control mechanism. Y'all ain't got no reason to hate me. I ain't got no reason to hate y'all. You know what I mean? We all here to exist. And then we can exist on this motherfucker together. I'm just being real with you, man. God bless all y'all. Much love. Peace.